Tough game all around, but I think my favorite part was when Bobby Hurley's face got about as deep red as our tear on the bottom of the screen.
Happy Wednesday, and welcome into the PHNX Sun Devils show for the second time today. I'm Anthony Totri, joined as always by my passenger princess, Erik. We got the Deli Man behind the Mac, making all of the magic happen. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a 5-star... Fudge.
Okay, so Totri has
5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. Go ahead.
Hit that 5-star review button. Arizona State drops a good fight, a nail biter to Arizona on the road, 89-82. Massamba Diop, Odum, Bryce Ford,
Alan Mukeba.
At the end of the day, it wasn't
And
enough.
5 fouls.
It wasn't enough, but had him scared though on the road. Totri, to address the elephant in the room. You have like a gnarly case of the hiccups, and you've had it for like
The whole game.
the entire game.
It's horrible.
I'm surprised this hasn't happened before in like PHNX history.
It might have. I don't think it's ever happened to me like this. Literally the entire game, I have had the hiccups. I feel like I have done everything at this point in time to try and curb this case of the hiccups.
They even tried to scare you.
It just looks like they're with us. They're just going to be with us till potentially I croak over and die. But it sounds like they'll be here probably for at least the show.
And let's clarify, you are stone cold sober.
Yeah, stone cold sober. I had water and a protein shake.
Yeah, I think
That's
it was
all.
the protein
It's
shake
definitely the
that did it
protein
to him.
shake.
Well, that's where we're at. I'll tell you what, man, though. This game, I know it's an L, and I know it's supposed to be walk of shame, blah, 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 blah. This team put up a fight.
Yeah.
This team put up a bigger fight than I thought they were going to put up. So I owe them an apology for the way that I was talking about this team earlier in the day. I still kind of stand on what I said about Bob, just based off of, what I think a coach should say. But this team should hold their heads high. And again, I know it's an L and there's no moral victories in this thing, but that was the number one team in the country that you played at their place. 8:30 tip. Nobody gave you a fighting chance. You led at halftime. Like Patrick said, they were 20-point favorites, and you come in and almost do the unthinkable. We are potentially a Mo Odum free throw made, maybe talking about this game in a different light. You never know what happens after that, but still, man, this team, I think they showed a lot of promise, and they still have a lot to be, still a lot to fight for throughout the remainder of this season.
Yeah, I mean, this is okay. There's a lot of different ways that I feel like people are taking this game, and any U of A fan that is actually flexing this win is an idiot. Also, when you lose a game, like, there's no flexing losing a game. Like,
no,
Arizona State,
I feel like it's not what I'm doing.
That's the thing. Arizona State lost this game. Objectively, they showed fight, which was good.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they lost a game, and a big part of it was late game execution for this team. Some really poor shots, decision making, missed free throws. Once again, bit this team in the ass. Not just the Mo Odum free throw, but Massamba Diop. He missed a couple of free throws during the game. Like, this was a game where you could have won on the road against the number one team in the country. And so I don't really take away a moral victory from this, because we knew this ASU team fought. Like, that's kind of been their identity. And I know they've been on a slide as of late. I think this is their 5th straight loss game, which is not great.
No, because they beat Kansas State.
Oh, that's right. They beat Kansas State. Before that, they had lost 4
Yeah, they had
straight.
lost 4 straight.
So this is their 5th loss out of the last 6 games.
Yeah.
And they had to, again, last game against Kansas State, pull off a miraculous comeback at the end to pull it off. You think of the Texas game. Obviously, that was a really big game, really big Odum moment there as well in Maui. So this game kind of shaped up the same way. Now, clearly the most impressive opponent that you played, especially in the second half, Peat had
the best team in the country.
Yeah, Koa was wearing a Sun Devil jersey, just like I predicted. Never wrong, just early.
And still put up 24 for the Wildcats.
Well, the second half, he showed up alive, but again, this was a game where you change a couple of your things, late game execution, capitalize on a Grabovich. I always mess up on his name. Grabovich and Noah Musin with their really great games.
Yeah.
All of them hitting threes and really kind of helping keep ASU in this game. I will say the reffing was It wasn't like terrible, but they were super physical and they let anything go for like the first like 5 minutes. And then after that, felt like there were some touch fouls. There were some fouls on Diop that it's like, what do you want him to do? He's literally just standing there straight up with his arms up. But of course, there were also some clear fouls as well. I think ASU could have won this game, and that is the unfortunate part of it all. But any Arizona fan, you can ask Kevin and Damon, who are watching this game with, like, they're not flexing it right now. I'm sure they're on their post-game show right now talking about how disappointing of a game that was.
Yeah, and if they're not, like, they should be, right? Like, again, like, there aren't moral victories here, and I know you're going to get the cope trees and all that in the chat, which is fine. But, like, I think if there's at least one thing to take away from this game, and there's multiple, right? It's why we're doing the post-game show. But, like, for me, where I kind of want to start is that, like, this team is not the Bobby Hurley teams of the past. At least it didn't look like that watching this group against Arizona. And I've watched a number of these games with Shane specifically, so I feel like the Deli Man can kind of attest to this. And I think you were kind of expecting it, Shane. There was a certain point in this game where I think Arizona had gone on maybe a 6-point stretch and ASU hadn't scored. And it felt like, okay, this was going to be the time, right? Diop came out the game, or Odum came out the game, and Pig Johnson came in, and it felt like it was going to be like, okay, this is maybe where it starts to get a little bit ugly, where it starts to steamroll to 10, 15 points potentially. And they were able to stop the bleeding. They were able to stop
a lot of points where they did that.
Well, yeah, there were like a lot of points where they were not only, again, and they're stopping the bleeding, and they're stopping the bleeding in that environment.
They're stopping the bleeding and then punching back.
Yeah.
Which is something that, yeah, you haven't expected in the past couple of years. Outside of that win at McHale in 2023, like, I'm not even talking about games against Arizona. Like, you get death run by a team, 10-0 run, it's over.
Yeah,
it's over. They start chucking. And was ASU chucking a bit and they were just falling? Maybe, but also they were playing smart, they were playing calm, and they were playing good team defense, which is something that Bobby Hurley teams, when they gets off the rails, you see it go the other way, where the defensive intensity is always there, but it's dumb. It's fouls. Yeah. It's jumping a lane and missing. So that was encouraging to see for sure.
Yeah, I think the defense, especially against Arizona, who defensively, and I know like 89-82, you think they probably played similar defensive games. I think Arizona played a pretty poor defensive game tonight.
Yeah.
And a big part of that was Arizona State was finding ways to take advantage. But look, if you look at just the numbers for this game, and I think the eye test backs this up, your starting lineup was carried by Odum and Massamba Diop. Like, both of those players played phenomenally tonight. They played like two of the best players on the court against, a team in, again, Arizona, who's now 17-0.
And there were questions about if those two were going to be able to put up the numbers that they've been putting up all year long against this type of team.
I mean, this was, I think, Massamba Diop's best game, even though it wasn't his best statistical game. And unfortunately, the fouls caught up to him with 4 personal fouls. I know we'll talk a little bit more about him later. But Al Mukeba, Santiago Truitt, and Anthony Johnson. I'm not calling him Pig tonight.
Wow.
He didn't earn it. He didn't earn it tonight.
He didn't know.
You know how many total points those 3 guys scored? 12. 12
not good.
12 total points, 6 of them coming from Truitt. Pig Johnson, I'll give it to you on the second time, and Al Mukeba combined for 6 points tonight. Now, off the bench, Grabovich and Musin. Grabovich. I know, it's every single time. 22 points from them off the bench, and then another 9 points. You had 31 points off the bench with 3 players tonight.
Yeah, it's also something you're not accustomed to seeing with Bobby Hurley teams.
So what I'm looking at for this loss specifically is late game execution for sure. There were some shots you didn't want to take. Some of them fell, some of them didn't. And honestly, I do look at Pig Johnson. And I know it's unfortunate because you don't want to just single somebody out, but offensively, Mukeba and Truitt took 6 shots and they hit 4 of them. Pig Johnson took 11 shots and hit 2
Yeah,
of them.
Pig took too many shots for my liking.
It wasn't just necessary. Like, I'm fine with him taking those shots, but I don't like how he took them. He drove directly into an Arizona player. It didn't even look like he was putting up a shot. He was just trying to foul bait.
It was the same thing over and over and over
it was like
again.
It happened 3 times, and it was like, okay, you can't do that again. And then it happened a 4th time, and it happened a 5th time. And the way that this game was being officiated, you need to read the room.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to take a guy and bottle him up, because this is a guy in Pig Johnson that's had like 10, 12, 14-point halves and has done really well and helped get you back in some of these comebacks. But you got to be smarter than that, man. You have to be smarter than just running directly into great defensive players for Arizona who aren't doing a great job defending your other 2 starters and just throwing up BS shots that basically turn into turnovers.
One of the, and this is, I get Pig's had some really good games. And I get, again, like, he's been somebody that you can lean on for points throughout the year, realistically, whether he's in the starting lineup or coming off the bench. But I think in a game like this, and you bring up, the way that he was trying to score versus the way that Diop was doing it, or Odum or Bryce Ford, I think, again, and you kind of point to going to those runs that we talked about earlier where it felt like, or moments where it felt like Arizona was maybe going to run away with it. ASU stopped the bleeding defensively, and then what did they do on offense? They got it to the guys that were offensively on fire, right? The Mo Odums, the Diops, the Bryce Fords at certain times. And I think for me, it takes, and again, as somebody who's clearly not a Division I basketball player, like, I think it takes a level of confidence isn't the right word, but like, I don't know what the right word is, of just being like, swallowing your pride, I guess. If you're Pig Johnson in the moment, being like, we're on the road, number 1 team in the country. I get it. I'm the guy accustomed to scoring. I average 15 something points a game, but tonight's not my night.
No,
right? Kick it. Get other players involved.
I think it's less of a selfish thing and more of this is the biggest game he's played in.
Yeah.
From where he's come from. Sure, he's played in some big games like the Maui Invitational. That's a small gym. Like, this is a very, very, very intense environment. It is.
It is, absolutely. So this is a lesson learned.
For sure.
It's an absolute, and guess what? You're going to get this team again in, I think, 17 days. Yeah. Right? So these are the moments that you certainly need to take with you and learn from them, and don't repeat these same mistakes when you have Arizona back at your place in a few short weeks.
Yeah, and I mean, the free throw attempts tonight, maybe that evens out a little bit when you're at home instead of on the road. Arizona State did not take a lot of free throws tonight. But kind of back to your...
not. I will say that.
Huh?
It will not.
I mean, I don't think it's going to flip. But I wonder if they'll maybe get some of the calls they didn't get, because there were a couple of calls that didn't
11 in comparison to U of A's 26.
26 free throws, which, again, I get, and U of A's a more physical team. They drove more to the paint. They have guys that take it off the dribble more as well. But you hope that at least, like, again, a couple more, but still you have to hit them too. Like, you missed 4 free throws tonight, right? And that doesn't seem like a lot, but you shot 11 of them.
Yeah.
So you shot 64%. We'll get to more numbers here in a second, but kind of to your point with Pig Johnson. And I don't want to just tear him down, because he's been fantastic.
I feel like that's not it, though, right?
No,
we're not trying to tear him down.
This is, again, I did this when I was talking about Sam against Mississippi State, not to compare the two, but like, when you have a bad game,
dude loves to come back to that.
When you have a bad game, objectively, like, you need to call it out. Like, this was objectively a bad game.
Yeah.
And when you think about, okay, getting it to your better offensive players, I would have liked Diop to maybe take a little bit of that confidence, or the lack of swallowing your pride, as you put it, that Pig Johnson had, and took it himself. Only 1 turnover tonight for Diop, which isn't that bad considering how much attention he got, but it was a really crucial one. He had a wide open free throw line jumper when the game was kind of hanging in the balance with momentum, and he tried to feed a bounce pass, which he can make, but wasn't the right play through 2 U of A defenders to Truett in the paint. That wasn't the right play. What you need to do is you need to rise up. His touch was phenomenal tonight. His mid-range was phenomenal tonight. He was making some pretty insane NBA-style shots.
Yeah.
For somebody his size, going up against the amount of attention and defense, I needed him to be just a little bit more aggressive, especially down in the clutch. Now, Mo Odum was definitely aggressive in the clutch. At the end, maybe a little bit too much.
Maybe too aggressive.
Nobody else that you really want taking that shot but Mo Odum. So Pig Johnson needs to play better. Alan Mukeba needs to play better. as well.
2 points and fouling out's not going to cut it
points.
against the number 1 team in the country.
Fouling out with only also 3 rebounds. Now, he did get 2 steals and a block. He was definitely going for it on defense, which is part of the reason why he picked up so many fouls. But he's got to play better. Only 12 minutes from him tonight. You don't know how much that could have changed if he could have played his 20. Now, it's different when Gerbovich and Noah Musin off the bench have 22 points. And Musin
looked good.
4 of 5 from deep.
Yeah.
He was hitting confidently, again, in a tough environment. So, maybe that balances out. Maybe he shouldn't have played as much when those guys are giving you good minutes. But there's a lot of ways Arizona State could have walked out of here with a victory tonight, and they just didn't capitalize. They didn't.
Yeah, 1,000%. Let's go ahead and get to by the numbers. Of course, the only number that matters, there are no moral victories in sports, is the final score. And that is, of course, Arizona State falling short to U of A, 82-89. Both these teams shot pretty well from the floor tonight. 54% for Tommy Lloyd and company, 48% for Hurley's Devils. And we're not accustomed to seeing this. Arizona State outshooting their opponent from three-point land, 44% for ASU, 36% for U of A, and this is a big one. I mean, the difference on the glass, I think you see it in the numbers, but you also saw it watching it with your own eyes. 39 boards for the Wildcats, 28 for the Sun Devils. Assists, 10 for U of A, 9 for ASU, and then in terms of stocks, 11 apiece here. Anyone specifically that stands out to you, Rubis?
A couple of things. One, Shane and I were talking before the game, and we were talking about how a couple of guys were going to have the 3-point games of their life in order for ASU to just compete and try to win this game. And that happened tonight. Yeah. I don't know if you'll get another 3-point shooting performance like this from the team as a whole. 11 of 25 from deep, which, by the way, only 4 of those 11 makes came from your starting lineup, and they all came from Mo Odum, who shot 4 of 11 from deep. You're probably not going to get that again in another game. And if you do, you're going to probably win most of those games because you're not facing the number 1 team in the country. Now, next game, you face Houston, who's a top 10 team in the country, which is unfortunate. But against a lot of other teams, you hit those threes, like against Kansas State, who they had to come back from and play when they shot 14% from deep and had like 13 points outside of the paint. You have one of these performances, you win that game by double digits.
Yeah.
Right? The rebounding, too. Peat with 10 rebounds tonight. Peat had a monster second half, ended with 24 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal. He had an awful first half, so to be able to walk away with that stat line is very impressive for him. Tobe Awaka, not necessarily on the boards. He only grabbed 5 of them, but he had 25 points tonight.
Well, yeah, lit all scores.
49 of the 89 points came from Tobe Awaka and Peat.
Not just
Tobe.
Not just that, but look how efficient they were.
Yeah, 8 of 11 for Awaka and 9 of 15 for Peat.
And Peat started off looking like a double agent. Right? Looking like he was going to do exactly what you said he was going to do and take off the UA jersey and head over to Bobby's side and grab an ASU jersey.
I was almost close to being vindicated.
Yeah, and he still turned out 24-10. And again, we're talking about somebody it's going to be a lottery pick in Peat. And Awaka is one of the best rebounders in college basketball right now, if not the single best. And again, I know you said it wasn't necessarily him crashing the glass that made the biggest difference. Is more so his scoring tonight. But this is what the number 1 team in the country looks like, right? And they're the number 1 team for a reason. And I know we have a bunch of UA trolls in the chat. I'm not going to sit up here and say again, and I've already said this a number of times, there are no moral victories here, right? And I don't think there's moral victories on either side. If you're an Arizona fan, should you be happy that you won the game? Absolutely. Should you be flexing it that you beat an unranked ASU team by 7 points at your place? I would say probably not. But again, some people like to get excited about little things. Like babies get excited about bubbles, and apparently Wildcat fans get excited about unranked wins against a team that is going to be fighting to make the big dance. But
yeah, maybe.
You know what it is at this point in time.
Again, I think winning against your rival is always something that you can be happy about. But if you're the number 1 team in the country and you are flexing this
is expectation.
Again, that's again, if you want to just take it from a rivalry standpoint, I get it. If you take it from objectively who the Arizona Wildcats are supposed to be right now, this was probably one of their worst games played. Probably their worst game.
Yeah, probably their worst game.
Worst game played the entire season in a really big environment at home. It is what it is because ASU lost this game.
Yeah.
And that's what everybody's going to say in the chat. And that's fine.
I mean, we're here. We know.
Like, we're here. Like, we know what happened in the game. But all I'm saying is it's going to be great when ASU gets farther in the tournament than U of A. And by the tournament, I mean the NIT. Thanks.
Huge. Look, we're going to continue talking about this one on the other side of our first break.
The holidays, well, they're over. I don't know if you knew that, but
they are. Wait, Santa's not
just
coming?
like this game. The holidays over. Santa, you must have been on the naughty list this year. But you know who's on the nice list all year round? It's the Window Depot. Because at the Window Depot, you'll find everything you need all in one place to start that home renovation project that you've been putting off until 2026. And you hear the Window Depot, but it's not just windows. It's windows, doors, skylights, cabinets, countertops, sinks, and more, with tons of inventory in stock and ready for pickup. Contractors, well, they love the Window Depot for their job site ready quantities, unbeatable prices, expert service, and no membership required. Plus, you can have an in-home designer free of charge if you need help bringing your vision to life. With 7 locations across Arizona, even for U of A trolls, they have one in Tucson, Phoenix, Chandler as well. Visit thewindowdepot.com. Get started on your next project today, or stop by one of the Window Depot's 7 Arizona locations and see for yourself why they're way more than just a window store.
Look, I'm going to keep this one simple. If you need a hat and you are a Valley sports fan, why have you not gotten a Branded Bills hat? Because they have what feels like 100+ different options of Branded Bills hats, regardless of what team you're a fan of. Now, again, this is a Sun Devils show, so of course we're all in on getting those Sparky hats, the Arizona State merch. And Rubus has got what feels like 15, 20 different ASU Branded Bills hats. I've got a bunch, again, personal favorite here, and I'd like to say I'm the only one in the office that has this hat. The iced out white hat with the Sparky. No! With the white.
Shane has Branded Bills.
It's a great hat. It's an absolutely phenomenal hat, but that compliment is not just reserved for that specific cap. Of course, Branded Bills, pretty much everything that they put their Branded Bills logo on is an absolute home run. If you don't believe me, well, head to brandedbills.com and use code BBPHNX for 15% off your first order. Also, head to gophnx.com, click the event tab, because guess what, Rubus?
Oh, I'll tell you what.
Tell me what.
Oh, we're a hockey school, baby.
Facts.
Everybody talking trash in the chat. Well, guess what? Our hockey team's better than yours, and you can go watch it in person with the PHNX Hockey Takeover in Mullet Sun Devils for St. Cloud State on February 6th. Of course, this meetup includes a pregame meetup with food and drink included, a game ticket for Section 107 for Sun Devils versus Huskies, of course, immaculate hangs with the PHNX hockey crew, and don't forget, diehards get 20% off too. So become a diehard, get 20% off the event, 20% off of merch, and everything of that sort, and go hang out. Go phnx.com/events to get all the details for the PHNX hockey takeover February 6th against St. Cloud State.
St. Cloud State don't stand a chance.
Yeah. They said you didn't want to give me a high five for that, but you initiated the high five.
When was
for the NIT tournament joke? You initiated.
Yeah,
it.
I gave you the high five.
Yeah,
right?
Come on, guys.
What are we?
You can troll, but let's be realistic.
Yeah, come on, man. It's this is an AI here. Okay,
Yeah.
this happened.
Could you imagine if we weren't real?
I mean, technically, I can't prove that you're real, and you can't prove that I'm not.
That you're not real?
Yeah.
Bottle service.
You know who's real?
Odum.
I switched it.
Odum. You switched it. You switched it on me.
Massamba Diop is real, but Odum is realer.
Yeah. They're both real.
Odum.
Mo Odum was a dog, especially at the end of this game.
Massamba Diop didn't get in foul trouble, this was his.
Yeah, I think that's fair. But Mo Odum, 23 points.
That should say assists. Who cares? Mail it in.
23 points, 7 assists for Mo Odum. I mean, he looked like the general of this team tonight. He looked like exactly what a Bobby Hurley point guard should look like.
Speaking of Bobby Hurley, post-game, Bobby Hurley had to say, this is via Justin Lacertosa, so thank you, Justin, says he puts us on our back to stay in the game at different moments. That's what real leaders do. Guys that got guts. I'm glad he's on my team. Mo Odum also said it was, quote, us against the world with ASU coming into Tucson. Quote, we've got to treat every game like it's the same game, not just because it's the number one team in the country. We've either got to do it together or we're not going to be able to do it at all. Mo Odum is not just a fantastic basketball player and somebody who, at his size, his craftiness around the rim, his gutsiness to take big shots and hit big shots, but also like the leadership part.
Yeah, exactly.
As well. He was pulling multiple guys in when Bryce Ford had a steal and a layup. Like, he was the first one to go dap him up. He's the first one to get in the mix if you need to. Like, Mo Odum is the guy that you get behind. And we've seen it play out in big moments. We've seen him literally hit game-winning shots this year and help take
Am I crazy, or is there hasn't been somebody that feels like they have led this Arizona State squad like even remotely close in the way that Mo Odum? But again, we're talking about it's 2026.
No, I hear you. I hear you.
It's been a while,
totally
right? Like since Arizona State or Bobby Hurley has had a guy that is not just a good player, but somebody that you can look at and be like, damn, that's the guy that's leading this team, the guy that everyone in the locker room is looking at.
Dez did it, but he picked and chose his nights.
Yeah.
So no, it's been, I can't think of the last person other than Remy. Genuinely,
it's since Remy for sure.
And this is, I mean, to have a guy like
Tayshaun Cherry.
JJ, you probably have an answer.
To have a guy like this who also, it's one thing to be a leader, right? Like there are teams that have leaders that don't do athletically, what you'd like a leader to do.
Yeah.
Mo Odum is a leader, somebody that drops 20 points a night, leads the team with assists, and does not stop fighting. Like, he is, and again, I know it's a 7-point loss, no moral victories. We'll say it every single time. But, like, he is such a big reason why this team was so competitive in this game. Not just because of what he did from a scoring perspective, but his energy, right? You see it. You see it the moment he leaves the game, right? And I know, again, you've had this situation in the past with Hurley point guards. You look at Alston Mason a couple years ago, right? When he left the floor, very rarely, team struggled.
Yeah.
When Odum left the floor tonight, team struggled.
Yeah.
Right? Like, this is somebody that you need to have out there at all times for the most part. And I get based off rotations, like it's not really a luxury that you're afforded at this point in time with the way that this roster was constructed, the money that you have to invest in your roster, but that's a conversation for a different day. Like, you have to feel from like what you saw in this game, not just from Odum, from the team as a whole, moving past bottle service here. Like, you can play with anybody.
Yeah.
And that's not like me just saying it of like, they can play with anybody, right? They play up and down to their competition. And welcome to the last decade, right? Like, no. Like, they just took the number one team in the country to the wire at their place, rivalry aside, right? They can play with anybody. They showed that tonight. They were a couple plays away tonight from us having you beat the number one team in the country.
Sure, 100%. And part of that is the makeup of this team, which goes back to bottle service, goes back to Mo Odum. I think there's two different types of leaderships. I think Remy Martin was more of a quiet leader. Not that he wasn't vocal at times. Mo Odum is certainly more of like an in-your-face type leader. Both of them would win and show by example. But I think that you take on the personality, usually as a team, of your best player, especially in basketball, because there's not a lot of players, right? Obviously, it's like, wow, the Phoenix Suns guy uses a Phoenix Suns reference. But like, when Devin Booker is the best player on your team, like a lot of guys take after that. Like, they've got that fire, but then they're also kind of quiet, but they're still competitors. Mo Odum is always loud. He's always in your face. He's always, it's the Bobby Hurley. Like, it's the perfect point guard for Bobby Hurley. And he's from New York. Which is perfect for him. But yeah, they can compete with anybody. Now, I will say this, like, rivalry games can get tricky. This was a very impressive performance. I don't want to take away from it. 2 games ago at BYU, who's the number 9 team in the country at the time, they lost 104-76. So on any given night, they can also just not have it. Yeah. Like, and that's also something
that's college basketball.
But that's also something they've unfortunately showed. I think that is kind of a trademark of Bobby Hurley teams, is they get up for big games. But this should be a performance that as a basketball team, you shouldn't be satisfied with, but you should be able to look back and build off of this. Now, the next game is tough because you're playing, again, on the road against number 7 Houston, and you're going to come off of this emotionally charged loss, right? You're going to feel like you can hang with anybody, and Houston's going to punch you in the...
Yeah, Houston plays defense.
Yeah.
Arizona does not.
Yeah, this was
at least they did not tonight.
Arizona didn't tonight. They play defense.
They play defense, but tonight you kind of got whatever you wanted. And it's different when, like, especially for a rivalry game, they say it all the time. Throw the records out the window. Like, it's just 2 teams playing and anything could happen. And we've seen that with these schools in every single sport imaginable, right? It's a little bit different when you go on the road against Houston. And now Houston sees an ASU team who they're watching film and they're scouting, who just took the #1 team in the country to the wire and led at halftime on the road. So Houston's not going to be sleeping on this. So it'll be a nice little gut check for them to see if they can compete. But welcome to the Big 12.
Yeah.
Because this is how this goes.
Yeah. And that's a really good point, right? Is like you can have these conversations, and I think when we're talking about Arizona State basketball and all the good things about this game, regardless of a loss, like, yes, it's a loss at the end of the day. And realistically, if you look at this team's conference record now at 1-3 on the year, it's not good, right? Like overall, you remove the opponents. It doesn't matter what conference you're in. If you're 1-3 to start conference play, it's not good. And that has been the knock on Bobby Hurley teams since he's been here. Has been, hey, this team is always getting up for non-con. They always look really good against teams that aren't in their conference. And then you get to the games that matter, and they can't really string them together. And you had a Hail Mary victory against Kansas State a couple nights ago, and then you have this. And it's an L, and it sucks. But there isn't time to feel bad for yourself. There isn't time to be like looking down the stretch at the schedule. Every team in this conference is pretty good.
Yeah.
Minus like Colorado and Utah.
And you lost to Colorado.
So like you have to find ways to win these games.
Yeah.
There isn't like you're not going to get to right before March Madness on Selection Sunday and be like, I know we only won 5 games, but listen,
it's the Big 12.
Everybody's good, right? Yeah. They're not going to put you in the tournament for that, right? Like you have to eventually start to win games.
You have to be in the Big 10 for that.
Yeah, you're right. You got to be in the Big 10 for that, or SEC in football to make that happen.
I don't want to get too big picture here, but
why? We're not. We might as well. We're not doing another basketball post game for some time.
Let's be frank here. Bobby Hurley's coaching for his job, folks.
Yeah, he is.
Like Bobby Hurley is 1,000% coaching for his job right now.
I think
Shane, he's coaching for his job.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just saying. I think we'll do a post game show on the 31st. I think we will.
I don't want to promise nothing.
I don't want to promise it. I mean,
there's a chance.
Chad, I'll push for it. Whoa, David says ASU's not making the tournament. What?
Here's the thing.
Breaking.
And that's it. Bobby Hurley,
can we go home?
Much to Arizona fans' disappointment, Bobby Hurley is coaching for his job right now.
Yeah.
This is the last year in his contract. He needs to not just make the tournament. This guy needs to make a tournament-like run. He needs to make some noise. Something he has quite literally never done. Ever. He's barely ever made the tournament. And so when you go to a night like tonight that could have, again, turned your misfortune around as far as your conference record goes and gives you one of the most impressive wins probably anybody in the Big 12 will have all season, that is a huge, huge loss. Put just the one in the L column aside for your tournament chances, because you lost to Colorado, which is a game that you can't afford to lose.
That's a quad 4 loss.
And you beat Kansas State.
Colorado?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
No? You Q3?
Colorado right now is 12-5 and 2-2 in conference.
You do have a quad 4 loss against Oregon State.
You lost to Oregon State the game before that. The 4-game losing streak of UCLA, Oregon State, Colorado, and then of course like BYU. That again puts you in a really tough spot. And then you beat Kansas State in a massive comeback. Kansas State is one of the few teams that's worse than Arizona State in the Big 12. They're 0-4 in conference. They have a worse overall record at 9-8 as well, but you beat them, right? So you got on the board. You had a chance to go 2-2, beat the #1 team in the country, the #1 team in the Big 12 on the road. That, as far as resumes go, would have given you a world of cushion after losing to Colorado and BYU. So for a coach in Bobby Hurley, who had won 2 total games at McHale and is coaching for his job, this is a brutal loss. Not just because you lost, but because you could have won. How many times are we going to sit there and say ASU was on the precipice of picking up this big of a win this season? I don't know if there will be another shot for this big of a chance.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair.
Except for 17 days.
JJB, the resident ASU basketball fan who's always in the chat. I applaud you for always coming to the chat, talking to ASU hoops any day of the week, especially considering this is pretty much a football podcast at this point in time.
Could be literally winning the Natty in college football, and JJ would be in the chat being like Mo Odum.
Bryce Ford.
For those of you, once again, if you are new here and wondering why we don't do this for every post game show, the lights that are currently on right now, they can be turned off by not being able to pay our bills.
Yeah.
We get more viewership on 1 p.m. shows about a transfer from Tulane than we get for ASU basketball. So until the support is consistent, then we will start
Tough
doing
pitch.
them again. So
Tough pitch.
if this team starts winning, guys, trust me, we'll get there.
Tina,
I don't know if that's gonna happen.
I think that's Tina in the chat. Haven't seen you in years here, Tina. Saying flexing U of A fans are idiots is idiotic. A win is a win, a loss is a loss. No one is sitting up here saying that you're an idiot. I think what we're saying up here is this isn't like if you're as a U of A fan,
if you're flexing,
if you are flexing as a number 1 team in the country, which you are, which for those of you that don't know, that means you are considered the best team in the nation at this specific sport. Arizona State is not even in the top 25, probably not in the top 50.
They are not in the top 50.
There you go.
No.
So
also, I might have said it'd be idiotic. I might have said,
but you're not. It's again like
I didn't call I don't know if I called you
I don't care.
idiots. I
don't care at this point in time because if you are flexing it, if you're flexing it and you're saying, man, we just stomped you, we beat your ass, we did X, Y, and Z as a U of A fan, yeah. It sounds pretty dumb, and what that tells me is you just simply do not understand sports, and you're a casual, and that's okay. If you want to be a casual, that's totally fine. Go celebrate. We have a Wildcats podcast literally in the other room.
They're great.
Celebrating, right? But don't come here saying, "Oh my God, you suck, you lost." You beat us by 7. They're not a team that's anywhere near contending in the conversation that you guys are in. People talk about U of A basketball as a national championship contender. You know what I saw tonight? I saw a lot of holes in that national championship contender for sure. And if you didn't see that, well, Tommy Lloyd, nobody hates March more than him because he doesn't have success there. He hasn't at this point in time. So if you want to sit there at 11:40 at night and come in here and start flexing, go ahead. But I'll tell you what, we're going to flex right back at you the complete opposite way because I didn't see a national championship team on that court tonight. And I'll tell you what, if you took away the screen tonight and just had the game and you didn't see who was ranked and who wasn't, you would think that these two teams are probably a lot closer than what is actually to be the truth. I think that's fair.
I mean, yeah, ASU played a great game. I think U of A, to their standard, played their worst game of the season. U of A still ended up with a win. So kudos to you. You could say that. But again, your standard,
he said what I said in about
like your standard
10 seconds,
which is like the first time
took me a couple. Yeah, literally.
The first
literally.
time. Like the standard is different.
And we'll be right back after this.
Yeah, we'll be right back after this. Gila River Resorts and Casinos, the number 1 seed of casinos, and they never get upset in March. In fact, you can never upset Gila River Resorts and Casinos because they are always doing really cool things. Like the Drive into Excitement, the fabulous Corvette giveaway running January 16th through April 24th. So they're going to get through all the way through March with the Corvette giveaway. 4 casinos, 4 Corvettes, 4 big chances to win. Wild Horse Pass, VQuivo, Lone Pew, and San Tan Mountain. Here's how you qualify on Fridays from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Hourly drawings for free bonus play or finale entry. Tuesdays and Saturdays earn 4 times entries when you play the card, which is the Gila card that they have there. And Thursdays, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Hot Seat Finale qualifier. Play with the card for your shot to win, plus exclusive giveaways throughout the promotion. At the end of April, they're giving away 4 Corvettes. So don't miss your chance to accelerate into luxury, play, earn, and win at any of their 4 casino locations.
Hey, Erik.
Yeah.
You want to win some money?
I wish.
Yeah. Our friends over at Arizona Lottery, that's exactly what they're trying to help you do. They're trying to help you win money a bunch of different ways here in 2026. In the way that you guys can start making bank, or at least try, well, the multiplier scratchers are the perfect way to add to your life, because with multiplier scratchers from the Arizona Lottery, you guys can multiply the good things in life. We're talking vacation, relaxation, and then, of course, celebration. Because with over $270 million in prizes, that's right, you didn't mishear me. Yes, I know it's late, but still, over $270 million in prizes. You guys could win big enough to do more of the things that you actually want to do. Multiplier tickets start at just $1 and have prizes up to $5 million. And with access to over 3,500 retailers across the state, you guys can play whenever and wherever you'd like. Hit that like button for sure. Again, if you want us to do more ASU basketball postgame shows, we need to be able to sell them pretty much. We need the support in here. Again, we really do appreciate everybody that is stopping by, watching with us live, and in the chat. We really do appreciate it. Again, hit that like button. It goes a long way.
Erica, we have not been ignoring basketball. We talk about every single game happens the day after the show. We just don't brand our show around it because
we're smart.
People are just like,
let's just call it what it is. Let's call it what it is. Let's be smart here. Basketball polls for U of A, football polls for ASU. Like it's I don't know, like, if we need to show you the numbers, Erica, if you want to come into the office, like, we can show you that. Like,
just scroll down on YouTube.
Yeah, just scroll on YouTube.
And that's the thing. Like, and I said this when people talking about on the show. Like,
it's all love, David.
We talk about every single basketball game. Like,
some longer than others.
Some longer than others, because sometimes they deserve it, sometimes they don't. Right? But football for ASU is king, and that's the way that it is.
Yeah, absolutely. I got one more thing to say to Tina. Tina, I don't want to come at you like I'm attacking you here. It's just your comments just really throw me for a loop here at almost midnight. Saying you'll never admit that U of A is a championship team. We don't care. First up, one, it sounds like you care a lot. You're using a lot of exclamation points. It sounds like you care. You're here at 11:40. And I'll admit when they're a championship team when they play like a championship team. If you watched that game,
they've played like a championship team 90% of the year.
I'm not watching 90% of the year. I'm watching the game tonight against Arizona State, an unranked team. Right or wrong? They didn't look like a championship team. They didn't look like a Big 12 championship team by any means. They didn't look like they could win this conference the way that Arizona State played them tonight. They couldn't stop a damn nosebleed tonight. Odum had them losing their jockstrap at half court here. Like, they didn't look like any semblance of a championship team. Did they have good players tonight? Absolutely. Awaka and Koa looked unstoppable. But I'm not going to sit here and say U of A looked like a championship squad. They didn't. They looked far from it. And anybody that watched that game and thinks otherwise needs to go get their eyes checked. But sure, I'm Totri. Nice to meet you.
Also, yes, we were doing a post game no matter the outcome tonight. So come on, Erica. Come on.
Yeah, I don't know.
What else do you have to say about the game? Totri.
Let's get to love the play, huh? Let's go ahead and do that. I'm sweating here. Certain individuals in chat make me angry. It's time for love the play. Brought to you by our friends over at Arizona Lottery playing gift today.
Is that we literally have a U of A stream going on.
Yeah, look at them.
Literally right now. And David and Kevin are great. They do an awesome job. We love those guys. We hate U of A, but we love those guys. And yet, so many of you decide to be in here. And you know what?
You do, Tina. You do care. You're here.
You know what, Totri? Good for us. Good for us.
Again, I want to throw this out there.
If you don't care?
I said this for the Territorial Cup. You guys really, I don't know if I ever have a bigger head than when we play Arizona, because you guys are literally, it is 11:46 at night on a Wednesday.
You won.
And you guys are in the chat of the opposite team so obsessed with me, you're combining my last name with the word cope. I live in your goddamn head rent free. It's, again, 11:46. Don't sit here and say you don't care what I think. You clearly give way more shits about what I think than anybody else at this point in time.
It says, I'm in their stream. You're listening to ours. The sound is on.
I love it. You guys are awesome. I appreciate all the folks in here. I really do.
Totri is also just such a God tier.
Totri's such a
It
good
is,
name.
but you're all like, you're
so
spamming
funny.
it. It's hilarious.
so funny.
It's so funny.
It's so funny.
God, if
It's
I
great.
ever need like a bump in my ego, which I never do, because as we addressed today, I have the confidence of a much taller man. Like it's awesome. It's awesome. It really is. You guys are great. ASU fans, U of A fans, anyone else that's in the chat, because this is what the first thing that YouTube recommended to you was, and you're just here. We appreciate you being here.
Can I give an actual play?
You can give an actual play. Yeah.
My favorite play was my sweet Toledo Scottsdale native Bryce Ford dunking on
The yam.
all
He was
over.
filthy tonight.
Yeah,
He's
was
good.
He was good.
That's it. That's
Oh,
it.
your hiccups are gone.
Well, they're kind
They're
of.
coming back.
They were gone for like 30 minutes.
They
Yeah,
were
you've
gone
been
for a
doing-
while.
you've
You
been
took
doing really
over, and then
You're doing really good.
that
man.
maybe that's what scared me. Is you were in the driver's seat, and you're like, I was like, oh, we gotta really pay attention here. Oh man. Anything else? How do we like? I'm juiced now.
Well,
like,
JJ did say something that I agree with. Like, yes, the Big 12 is brutal, but that's also the benefit of playing in the Big 12. If they can somehow bottle this, I'm not expecting them to. If they can somehow bottle this and turn this around into a consistent thing where they are playing tough, physical, good, smart hoop every night, they could rattle off 5-6 wins in the Big 12, which it doesn't matter if you are 19 and 17.
yeah,
You
in
have a
this
bunch
conference.
of Q1 wins. So there's a world. It's not over. I'm tired.
How do we feel about Bob? Real quick before we get out of here.
It's time.
Yeah, I mean, if
It's
it,
time.
yeah, everybody knows that this
It's
is
time.
the farewell Bob tour unless he wins a
Yeah.
game in the tournament. And-
He's objectively hilarious.
He needs to win two.
Like,
He needs to win two.
He
games.
is objectively a hilarious coach. Nobody is
I think
angry.
he's a caricature of a basketball
He
coach.
just gave up this year as far as dressing goes. This wears a hoodie. He's like, I don't care. He's like, I'm going to scream at you. My face is going to turn deep red, and I'm not taking off my tie anymore because I'm just going to wear a Guardian.
Yeah, I'm not wearing a tie. I'm going back to
wearing a Guardian hoodie
the
from
good old
8 years
days.
ago.
The good old days of Guard U.
Objectively a hilarious coach. I would like somebody else coaching my basketball team. Thank you.
Yeah.
Although this team has been better, but it's just it's been a decade.
Let's go get a couple G League players.
It's time
Yeah,
to go.
let's go sign somebody who's played 5 years in the NBA. Colin Gillespie.
To still struggle
for the
to make
Arizona
the
State Sun
tournament.
Devils.
To still struggle to make the tournament.
Yeah.
Sleepy.
Yeah,
Colin
we're all
Gillespie.
sleepy here. That's gonna do it for tonight's episode of the PHNX Sun Devils show. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. Again, I've said it once, I'll say it again. Appreciate everybody in the chat. Don't care what side of the aisle you're on here when it comes to this rivalry. You guys are awesome, and we appreciate sports fans like you for being in here with us at 11:50 at night on a Wednesday night. All jokes aside, if you are an Arizona State fan and you do want to keep up with all of the Arizona State stuff we do on the daily, you can follow the show on social. That is X and Instagram. I believe soon to be one other platform at PHNX Sun Devils. You can follow me at Anthony _Totri. You could follow the lister here, Erik Ruby at Erik Ruby. That is Erik with a K. You can follow the Daily Man at Shane Dief.
I just want to sleep as always.
And we will see you guys Thursday at 1 p.m. per usual. In the meantime, though, go Devils. Peace.
Cope tree.
We all silly like the mayor.